Hi, welcome back for another Tool Time Tuesday. I'm Melissa Muir. In this video, I'm going to review some new tools that have come out from Wubbers. If you already are familiar with Wubbers pliers, you're going to love these, the Parallel Action Wubbers pliers. Let's take a look now. So you may have been already familiar with some of the pliers that Wubbers has come out with in the past, where they've got the square, tapered, round, oval mandrels, all kinds of different things. And now they have added to their lineup with the Parallel Action pliers. Now, what is the difference between them, and why have Parallel Action and the regular ones? I mean, what's the difference? So the difference is in how these close. And you can see here that as I close the regular mandrels or the previous mandrel pliers, you will see that they kind of come together in a V. So here towards the handles, it's going to close sooner than it's going to close up here at the top. Whereas the Parallel Action pliers come down simultaneously and they close the entire length all at the same time. So why does that even matter? Well, when I'm wrapping some of my wire onto here, what this allows me to do is have a constant pressure as I wrap up the mandrel. Whereas if I were to try to do that with the regular pliers, as I come around up towards the tip of these pliers or the mandrels, you're not going to have any pressure whatsoever holding onto your wire because of the gap that is created down here. Because these cannot close parallel, we end up with a V that is always there. And that is where the Parallel Action pliers come in. Now, some of the things and the features on these pliers that I really like, it has a double spring on them so that they will open automatically for you. And that's kind of nice because then I don't have to sit and try to open these back up once I'm done. Another thing that they have on here is this little knob, which allows you to adjust how far open or closed your pliers will return to when you allow that spring action to work and open those pliers back up. What that is going to allow you to do is have those kind of like repeatable result, or in the case of people with smaller hands and maybe they don't need the plier to open up the entire way each time, you can close this down and it allows you to just be able to work very quickly with smaller movements rather than having to have it completely open back up. Now, these pliers come in multiple shapes. Now, the pliers come in multiple shapes and sizes. You have two sizes of rectangles, and in the case of these Parallel Action pliers, on the rectangle and the squares, the mandrels are the same size. And I'm going to have some projects coming up soon that's going to show a couple of different ways of using these. So we have two sizes of the rectangle and two sizes of the square. As far as the round pliers go, each barrel is slightly different sized, with the exception of, I think, this smaller one. In this case, I think they're both are the same. But we do have smaller and larger, graduating to that larger size on the rounds. And these are going to be really, really nice for bales. And the thing that's kind of good again on those is if you have a sheet of wire or something that might have kind of a flat spot to them. So in this case, I've got some rectangular wire. This would be great for a bale. And what's going to be nice is that I will be able to have that constant pressure throughout my entire piece rather than just at one location. So making a bale is going to be nice and perfect and consistent all the way around. Now, one of the things that's kind of difficult anytime you do a shape that has corners, you're not always going to get nice crisp corners. But one of the things that I do like about these square pliers is that I can easily come in and give a nice little squeeze to get a flat spot before I bring that around. And then I can slip this back on like so. And this allows me to create my coils on these mandrels and it helps with some of that spring back. Now you will see some of this spring back still happening even with this. And what I mean by that, you can see the coil kind of going into that little bit of a helix there. Now, I use my jeweler saw to cut out my rings, and then I'll solder everything together. And as you can see here, not everything is a perfect square, and I take care of this after the fact. Now, depending on the amount of spring back that you had with your ring, you might be able to slip this right back onto your pliers and give a nice little squeeze to straighten out those sides. And I highly suggest you do this after you have soldered your rings shut, because if you try to do it before, you're going to end up stretching and opening up this ring, and you'll never get it back into an actual square. But sometimes you can also do this with a pair of flat nose pliers. And what I like to do is bring my piece into one of the corners, and I will give a little squeeze, and then I'll turn it 90 degrees into the opposite corner. And that is going to crisp up my corner quite a bit. And it also allows me to make some adjustments if something is a little bit off, maybe one side's a little shorter than another. So I do have that ability to make some of those adjustments here. And now we have a ring that's much more square. This one's still a little bit off, but I think that we actually have a little bit of extra material here. And sometimes that happens because of this helix action that happens when you're cutting. And so what happens is this will kind of open up as you're cutting straight down. So you end up with some material or some pieces that have a little bit more material than others. And that's something that can easily be adjusted. You can just kind of snip that out. And you can see some of that before you do your soldering process, and you can adjust that there. As far as the rounds go, again, all I do is I just take one of my round sets of pliers here, and I will just wrap this around and creating that coil. And one of the things that's really nice about having these parallel pliers is that as I create this coil and I bring my pressure down to hold my coil into place as it's being built, it's even all the way through because of that parallel action. So where can you try these pliers out? Well, you can purchase them anywhere that sells Wubbers pliers, but if you would like to give them a try, first thing, come and visit us at Beadfest in Philadelphia, starting on, I believe, the 17th through the 19th. So if you have any questions, let me know. As always, just down in the comments. If you like my videos, give them a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.